phone rang at exactly 3:03. Again. Principal Lauren Merritt sat frozen in her darkened office, bathed in the dim glow of her desk lamp and the pale blue digits of the clock. The phone had rung at this precise time for the past 3 nights. Always once, always silent when she answered. The first time, she dismissed it as a wrong number. The second, a glitch in the system. But the third, there was something about the stillness on the other end that felt aware, almost sentient, like something was listening instead of speaking. Lauren wasn't the type to scare easily. At 47, she'd clawed her way to become principal of Ashcroft College, a prestigious private institution tucked into the hills of upstate New York, where her no-nonsense demeanor and commitment to excellence had made her both respected and feared. But lately, cracks had begun to form in her meticulously ordered world. First came the administrative anomalies, student files corrupted, course rosters listing phantom names, rooms reserved for lectures that no longer existed. Then came the disappearances. 3 students and a teaching assistant, all connected to the humanities building. An aging wing long marked for renovation but abandoned due to lack of funds. Then the dreams began. Lauren found herself waking night after night in a sweat, haunted by visions of a narrow corridor lined with doors that wouldn't open, each breath filled with the smell of damp wood and something like rust. In the dreams, she heard a sound, the soft, dragging scuff of a shoe in a whisper too faint to comprehend but charged with menace. That night, something shifted inside her. At 3:02 a.m., she picked up the phone before it rang and held it to her ear. "Who are you?" she whispered. Static answered her, and then a voice so soft it might have been imagined. "You know me?" She dropped the receiver as though it had scalded her. By late morning, Lauren was standing before the iron-gated entrance of the old humanities building, keys jangling in her coat pocket. The sky was overcast, casting the structure in an eerie half-light. The building had been sealed since early 2020 after a chunk of ceiling collapsed in the archives. Professors still whispered about the place, called it cursed in hushed tones, though officially the reason for closure was ongoing renovation planning. She'd told herself this was just a formality, an investigation to settle her own unease. But as she unlocked the gate and stepped inside, the air grew heavier, colder. Dust coated every surface, the floor creaked with each step, and it smelled of mildew and something older, something feral. The hallway stretched ahead just like in her dream. Same cracked tile near the water fountain, same flickering fluorescent bulb near the stairwell. She moved forward cautiously, each step echoing unnaturally in the silence. She stopped in front of room 3C, the door slightly ajar, the inside humming faintly with an electric current she could feel in her teeth. The classroom was empty, but all the desks faced the back wall, where something had been furiously etched into the plaster over and over again. Lauren Merritt, carved in shaky, angry hands. Some of the carvings were faint with age, others fresh and still seeping red, as though the wall itself was bleeding. She staggered back into the hallway, heart pounding, only to realize the corridor no longer matched the one she'd walked down. It stretched impossibly far, the walls seeming to breathe, and at the far end stood a boy in a school uniform, head tilted at an unnatural angle. "Miss," he called in a voice warped like a warped cassette. "Miss Merritt, do you remember me?" "Who are you?" she managed, her voice hoarse. The boy smiled, lips too wide for his face. "You told me it wasn't your responsibility." Then he stepped backward into the shadows, not turned, not vanished. Rewound like a tape reversing, she ran. Doors slammed shut behind her as she fled, each bang louder than the last, as if the building itself were closing its jaws. Back in her office, Lauren pulled up the missing persons reports, and there he was, Aiden Brooks, freshman, reported missing 3 weeks ago after being disciplined in her office for repeated absences and plagiarism. She'd told him to grow up, to take responsibility, and sent him out with a warning. She remembered the hollow look in his eyes. The next day, he was gone. Desperate, Lauren demanded access to internal security footage from the humanities wing. The IT tech, a young man named Jorge, claimed footage from that wing was glitchy, constantly corrupted. But when she insisted, he pulled up the tapes. Most of it was static, black flickers or footage that skipped like a scratched disc. But then came one clear clip, time-stamped 2 nights ago, 3:03 IEMM, inside her own office. Empty. Then the door opened. She walked in. Identical to Lauren. Same gray suit, same red scarf, same bun, same tired eyes. But this version smiled as she sat down, lifted the phone and whispered something. Jorge isolated the audio. After several attempts to clean the static, the words emerged. "You know me. Lauren recoiled, her blood freezing. Jorge was pale. Principal, he said quietly, this has happened before, with others. He pulled up old digital logs buried beneath forgotten files, names of past principals. Every one of them had vanished under bizarre circumstances. Every one of them had entered the humanities building in the final days before they disappeared. Photos were missing, digital records corrupted, staff unable to recall their names clearly. It was like they'd been scrubbed from history. Lauren was next. Refusing to be erased, she dove into the college archives, buried beneath the main library's east wing. There, in a battered file from the 1950s, she found a personal journal belonging to the school's founder and first head, Professor Samuel Dunleavy. His final entries were barely legible, written in a frenzy. We disturbed something beneath the humanities building. The children are hearing voices. It feeds on authority, on judgment without mercy. It wears the faces of the ones we failed. I tried to close the door, but it's always hungry. It remembers, it becomes them. The final page held a single line. If you're reading this, it already knows your name. That night, Lauren returned to the humanities building, flashlight and journal in hand. She had to face it, end it. The hallway welcomed her like an old friend. This time, room 3C's door was wide open. Inside, every desk was occupied. The missing students were there. Aiden, the others, all staring at her in absolute silence. And at the front of the room stood her double, back turned, writing on the blackboard in perfect looping script. She turned to face Lauren and smiled with eyes that weren't hers. You came, she said. You're ready. For what? Lauren whispered. To remember, the double replied. Every time you said it wasn't your job, every time you punished instead of listened, every child you buried in silence. No, Lauren gasped, shaking her head. I tried to help. You taught them to disappear, the double said, stepping closer. Now you'll learn what that means. The lights blew out. Lauren screamed, clutching her head as a flood of memories overwhelmed her. Every moment she dismissed pain, every student she failed to protect, every life she reduced to a name on a file. She saw herself through their eyes and it hollowed her out. When she awoke, she was in her office again, though something felt off. The walls were bare. Her desk was clear. Her ID badge now read Principal S. Dunleavy. Her voice caught in her throat as she walked the halls. No one recognized her. No one remembered Lauren Merritt. It was as though she had never existed, but at 3:03 a.m., the phone still rings in that office, and whoever picks it up hears the same whisper, "You know me."